my team is 20 to 30% more efficient at building the thing than they were 2 years ago because of AI. Specifically, the apps I'll call out are Cerebro Analytics, which is the thing that we build a lot of those dashboards in. Lovable carries a lot of water for us. And then just kind of the general, we use a platform called Moonnox to be like our wrapper for ChatGPT and Claude. For all intents and purposes, call it like ChatGPT and Claude for, hey, look at this function. Why is it erroring out when I try to implement it? So like pillar 3, that's where I believe it. That's where we're already doing things. That's where you could make a case that we might have hired another consultant if AI did not exist. If this generative AI thing had never happened, we might be N+1 employee right now to keep up with our workload where we aren't.
You're listening to RevOps Champions, a podcast created for B2B leaders to help you align your people, streamline your processes, trust your data, and leverage technology in order to grow your business. Today, I'm joined by Peter Fuller. He is the founder of the Workflow Academy and a recognized expert in revenue operations, CRM systems, and workflow automation. Peter has built a consulting practice that has optimized revenue workflows for clients transacting of over $500 million, and his education division was acquired by Aspireship to scale career training in RevOps. Peter also teaches as an adjunct professor at Utah Tech University and Dixie Technical College, where he develops programs that bridge the gap between academic preparation and real-world business operations. His expertise in systemizing workflows and operational leverage makes him a valuable voice for entrepreneurs, executives, and operations leaders. Peter, welcome to the RevOps Champions podcast.
Thanks, Brendon. I feel like I should be prepared with a self-deprecating comment of some sort after hearing you brag about me, but every single one of the beautiful things you said about me is true, and I am that amazing. Yeah, it's all true.
I guess I could add another one, which I just recently found out that you have been anointed somehow the Greek god of, was it RevOps?
Yeah, the Greek god of RevOps. Yeah, Olympus is generally stingy with such designations, but some political maneuvering landed me that.
Yeah, it just shows how smart and experienced you are, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, Peter, it's so good to have you here. Let's dive in. Can you share your journey from studying Russian literature to becoming a RevOps and CRM expert?
I feel like if we did a straw poll of most people who are in this RevOps space, and again, we say RevOps, it's so hard to call it that because some people call you got your HubSpot admins, your Salesforce admins. Oh, I'm a Salesforce developer. I help import data into EHR systems and practice management systems. We're all kind of like of the same ilk. I swear half of us at least have liberal arts degrees that we emerged from our bachelor's degree, like terrified, thinking I have nothing of value to contribute to capitalism. To society, I have things I can contribute, but capitalism's not that interested. Yeah, I thought I was going to be a Russian lit professor. I realized pretty late on that there's only like 4 or 5 jobs that were similar to what I thought I wanted, and no one was really like the actuarial tables dictated that no one was close to dying yet, so that we're in those 4 or 5 positions. And you just kind of, I feel like everyone in the 2010s that found themselves in that position, we all Googled, hey, what are careers that are relatively easy to get into if you just go like watch some YouTube videos? And we all got into some combination of HubSpot Academy certification courses, Udemy, Coursera, digital marketing, like something in this realm of like help figure out how to make businesses more money, I guess. And that was the inciting event. There was a layoff in there too. Like I started down that path doing digital marketing, got laid off from a job around Christmas time about 8 years ago, and then got my high school debate teammate had gotten into Zoho, the smallest pond imaginable, weird big fish, small pond situation, and introduced me, started doing some freelance work, turned it into a consultancy, and have done everything from there.
Yeah, it sounds familiar, but I think it's also a good, and it's another sort of data point for how we all have very unique gifts to give the world, right?
Yeah.
And every experience that we've had in our past, whether it be an official education or an unofficial education, makes us who we are, and lands us in the places that we. So
Yeah, I mean, I told you I love the sound of my own voice, so I'm going to monologue slightly off of that. Every time in our education work we've done, everyone we've got a job, we're always like, do everything you can to take your past experience and frame it as if it was all leading towards this moment of this new career you're trying to get into. Like, I'm not entry level. Are you kidding me? Like, I have one student right now who he's worked at a welding shop and been a shop manager for a while. And I'm like, okay, let's go set up Trello boards and a CRM and a job like management system for welding shops. And then every welding shop you talk to, you won't be like, yeah, I've been doing RevOps for 2 months. You're like, no, I've been doing this for years. Are you kidding me? I've been doing it
yeah,
for years. I know what I'm talking about. You should hire me.
yeah, yeah. That's funny. Okay, so you started sort of touching on the fact that this wasn't like a straight line to the
Yes.
success that you've already had. And from what I know about you, you kind of just getting started. So, but what were the biggest challenges you faced in shifting from education to consulting, and now
Yeah.
you're kind of doing both? What
Yeah.
was that? What were the biggest challenges you faced?
So I'm going to give you maybe an unorthodox answer. Consulting, I'm going to say anyone that bills hours for some hourly rate, it's really hard to build a sustainable practice. And I'm going to focus not on like the acquiring customers or margins. I'm going to focus on the keeping talent uh, aspect of it. When you grow a consultancy, get to a certain point, and you're like, okay, I have a finite amount of time. I'm getting smarter. I shouldn't be doing all of this like grunt work. I need to hire someone to do what I consider to be grunt work, but to them, they're like, this is interesting. And you're constantly like spitting out work that you know how to do, you've assimilated, you learn how to do it, you teach someone else how to do it, they learn it,
Mm,
they assimilate it, and the waterfall goes on from there, right? That they assimilate, they kind of get, okay, I can do more than this. I need a junior consultant to help me. And what I find with most consultancies is their junior consultants get to a point that they're like, I know how to do this. Like I've been doing this at the Workflow Academy or whatever for 2 or 3 years. Like there's nothing really that Peter knows how to do that I don't know how to do. And I could probably do this on my own. I could probably go out and freelance. A lot of consultancies approach that retention problem with non-competes, non-solicits, incremental small raises here or there. Me and my partner Ashton really approached it more from okay, how do we build like a culture that no one is ever going to want to leave because they can never ever find something like this anywhere else ever. Because when people leave, it isn't just there's like a psychic toll that it takes of one of your best consultants leaving. It's not just a revenue thing. It's like oh my gosh, it's Halloween and I need to go take my kids out trick or treating, but I can't because this thing got dumped on me and I need to like write all these SQL queries for this customer that's expecting it, and someone that was going to write them left a couple weeks ago or whatever.
mm,
And so we kind of approached that from two ways. We started building this whole education bent of like we're going to make sure that we are constantly teaching our coworkers something new, that they will feel like there's literally nothing like there's never any stagnation. We will constantly be learning something new. We will constantly be sharing information. Like they will never feel like they've stopped growing, I guess.
mhm,
And then number two, we're going to treat everyone like peers. We're going to have significant profit sharing. In our world, our profit sharing is up to about 60%.
mhm,
So we have a joint 60% profit share plus I've heard it described as results-oriented work environment, ROW, which
mhm,
is we don't care how many hours you work. I proudly say that I don't track, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure a few of my coworkers work 20 to 30 hours a week, in some weeks less, and we're proud of that. We're like, that's perfect. We love that. Like,
mhm,
go. One of my coworkers always says, he's like, in his check-in, he's like, I'll be delayed today on this thing because I'm rebuilding the sunroom at my in-laws' house. And I'm just like, all power to you, man. Like your
mhm.
in-laws need a new sunroom. It's like I want you to be able to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's all kind of intertwined. It's like this education bent helped us recruit, it helped us retain, it helped us kind of have a soul. Like my coworkers really love that there's just always this flow of like education for them, and they're teaching other people and they're mentoring students, and it just really adds, I guess, some sort of like psychic positive quality to the work we do. But then in exchange, yeah.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you're describing like a really incredible company culture, right?
That's yes.
Yeah,
Which is it's an annoying LinkedIn buzzword. Culture is, until it isn't, until you're actually describing sacrifices that the employer is willing to make on behalf of the employed.
sure.
And that's maybe the best way to define it, is like, we never took on any investment. We've always been bootstrapped. We have 3 or 4 months of expenses sitting in a bank account ready to use if like times are hard, and we show that to everyone, and everyone knows that. And as a result, we are able to treat this very special group of 13 people like they're almost peers and adults.
Yep.
And they all feel responsibility for each other and for the students that sometimes come through our doors. Like, we all just kind of feel this like mutual responsibility for each other that feels really special.
Essentially, what you were describing there, and I said, well, that just sounds like an amazing, company culture.
Yes.
It also happens to be for us the first of 4 foundational pillars of our RevOps framework, which is people. And it just reminded me that when I was sort of preparing to chat with you today, that I wish I'd actually known about the the RevOps training that you've created, but because I haven't, can you share with us do you use a framework or a model in the training that you've created, and what is it?
Yeah, we do. I should have been better. When I was making the framework, I should have been better at watching all the other frameworks that are out there and paying attention to them and giving them their plaudits. So I feel bad if the framework I'm about to tell you is somehow plagiarizing someone else's inadvertently. We tell
I doubt it.
we tell everyone the 3 pillars. You got 3 pillars. Number 1, you need to obsessively ask questions in English about the customer's business goals, life, everything that they want to do. So really, it's just questions. And I always, you'll hear me always adding that qualifier of in English. We very much teach, like, you are not talking about Zoho or HubSpot or Salesforce or Clay or whatever. Like, you're just asking them questions in the language that they understand. So
So this is
we
and essentially, so what you're describing now is for an external RevOps consultant who's dealing with a client versus
correct, except we do clarify in there that if you're internal, if you're an admin, you have customers just the same way as the rest of us. Like, really, it's hard for me to find a RevOps function that doesn't really exist in that, like, we're an expert, you're a customer framework. It is the VP of sales is your customer, the VP of marketing is your customer, the CFO, whoever it is. Someone always is some facsimile of a customer. There's some facsimile of a human that has dreams and goals and desires that most often are connected to Adam Smith's capitalism and vision of the invisible hand guiding their corporation through something that makes them more profitable. And your job in revenue operations is to, like, figure out what is the linkage between their dreams and goals and desires and their existing customer. We call it the customer life cycle. I know everyone calls it something different, customer journey, whatever. But, like, take their goals and their dreams with how they want to grow revenue, link it to this mapped out vision of their customer life cycle, and make sure, and then identify the bottlenecks therein. Like, where is it that their customers' experience is being somehow negatively impacted, where they would give you more money or give you more money, or you would find more of them or whatever, if you, like, found that tiny little bottleneck. So that's the overarching framework. And then pillar 1 is ask a bazillion questions. Pillar 2 is measure twice, cut once. So repeat back everything you've heard in a scope document and a flow chart. And it's so interesting how often I've been proven right about this in, like, across hundreds of alumni. They all keep coming back and they're like, I thought that was BS that you taught about, like, asking questions, scoping it out, sending it as a Google Doc, repeating it back on call number 2, like go. But it just keeps working and being true that you repeat it back, and then they inevitably are like, I missed many things. Like I forgot to tell you about that, and I forgot to tell you about that, and oh no, actually, you should reprioritize this, and this should be here, and this should be here. And then it's only in phase three that we get into we actually build something in software. So only in phase three is the only part that we start talking about. Like, okay, you told me this, you told me this, you told me this, you told me this. I'm now going to actually set up HubSpot, Zoho. I'm going to make you an app in Lovable. I'm going to build something in Salesforce. Oh, there's this Salesforce app that I forgot to tell you about that works.
Mm-hmm.
Only then do you actually build something for them.
Mm. Yeah, that's really, really interesting. Which is I mean, I love it. I'm just trying to map it across, so we have four pillars, but but of course they seem more like high level, but it's, people,
Yes.
process, data, and technology. So I mean, it follows the same
Yes.
thing. Like, it's like you have to understand what the people
Yes.
you're serving are trying to get, where they are and where they're trying to get to.
Yes.
How the processes that they're currently using to get from there to where they're going, what the metrics or the data is that they're using to measure whether they're being successful or not, and then
Yes.
what is the technology that they're using to make it all better, faster, and
Yes.
et cetera. Yeah.
See, I love your framework. Mine is almost purposely more reductive and simplistic and less focused, I guess, because that's literally lesson one in our Rev. Like that is unit one, lesson one. I have parents re-entering the workforce, immigrants who just moved to the US. It's the first thing that people encounter. So I think we try to keep it. It's like we're trying to teach that almost before we even teach them what a CRM is. We're talking
Mm-hmm.
about this is what your job is. But I really like yours a lot. Maybe I'll
Yeah, but
plagiarize it, Brendan.
no, but what I like about it, Peter, though, is that we're essentially saying the same thing, but I do love the specificity that you're coming at it with, because I mean, you don't have to, because we have to explain,
Yes.
like, what do you mean by people? And what do you mean by
Yes.
process? What do you mean by data? What do you mean by technology? And so you're essentially, that's what you've done. You've explained it in a way that's, they're one word things.
Yes.
You can learn what those are. But
Yes.
the best part of this is that they do completely support each other and overlap.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I'm here to learn. So I guess that kind of goes well with my next question, which is, how did you develop the Workflow Academy's sort of unique model that blends consulting, training, and client outcomes?
Yeah. I'm going to very literally answer your question, and I will attempt to be succinct. Remember, literature major, not my strong suit. And I'm going to walk you through the realities of trying to build it the way that we've built it. Started with just consulting, scaled to a certain point, as I mentioned, that we needed education both for retention of existing employees, as well as we used it for almost like recruitment. A lot of our initial training materials were things that we would give to interns on a like 2-month internship where they could go learn Zoho and decide whether they liked it, whether they were good at it, everything. So retention and recruitment. Then we thought, oh, wow, this is working really well for us. Let's start teaching everyone. Did that for 2 years, went really incredibly well from my heart feeling full, people being happy. There's 8 or 9 agencies that have spun out of our various education, like people starting companies that are
That's awesome.
hiring other alumni, hundreds of alumni. I got incredibly good at very niche government training programs and subsidies and everything that's available. So really, really good tangent to go down. But at a certain point realized, oh, this is hard to scale. Like this is maybe not we were trying to run both the consultancy and the education at the same time. And it's like, is that really what I want to be doing? Like this is, we were almost losing some of like the individual relationships as you just scale to hundreds and hundreds of students. And then found Aspireship, who had found a way to scale to thousands and thousands of students without losing that personal touch. Loved their platform, loved everything. We ended up selling the education part of the business to them, and that's gone amazingly well. It's really nice that like I'm still involved. I still see students as they come through. We hired someone through the Aspireship platform about a year and a half ago. He's been amazing. So it's like they've been able to take and grow that side of it. But then we took the education portion and I just brought it local. My thesis was I have the curriculum, I know what I'm doing, I love doing it, but I wanted to be intensely personal. And I just said, hey, local universities, let's do this for 30 kids a year.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been incredibly fulfilling because it's like what you lose in scalability, you gain in joy, I guess. Like the ability to do, like I have students calling me in 20 minutes about something that they're trying to figure out their cap table and who's going to be what, and it's like just stuff like that is so fun, but it's not scalable. You can't do that with thousands of students, but you can with 30. But then it was nice that the second that we divested the education, the scaled education, and kept just the local one, our consultancy really, really, really started to take off.
Yeah.
And we still offer education, but now we offer it as kind of a differentiator for our consulting product. As we say, we'll only take you if you have an admin on staff. We will not consider taking you as a customer if you do not have someone whose job it will be to maintain this Zoho system. If assuming that person exists, you will not find a better group of people on planet Earth to teach that person how to become an admin. Kind of take, cool. We always say, our promise is that any billable hour that person can take from us, we will happily cede to them. Like that is our dream. If they can, for less than $200 an hour, do something that we could have for $200 an hour, that's a win for everybody.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, congratulations. Yeah, that's amazing. And again, I think that sort of journey you went through of realizing that you couldn't really be good at both and scale both effectively.
Yes.
I mean, we've been through that as well, so it makes total sense. But it's, of course, it's great when you can find a home for both, and where both can then continue to scale and add value to the world, really. So, Peter, one of the things that I was really excited about chatting with you about today was because your expertise is at a place where you just instinctively believe in workflow as kind of an incredible sort of business power, as it were. But I guess more importantly, for the people in those business operations whose lives you're making better and more effective, but sort of bringing that back to RevOps and how you think about the education evolving now.
Yeah.
Whether it's in this coming semester or in the coming year, with AI now playing a part in RevOps and there's all kinds of talk everywhere, all over the place about AI ROps, AI RevOps, whatever, and everyone's going to come up with their own sort of version of whatever this model is. But I think you and I both know that AI powered RevOps is a real and very powerful and a very exciting thing. How are you incorporating sort of and in fact, I know you're sort of you're known to talk about sort of half human, half robot, which is, so tell us about how are RevOps humans and their agentic friends going to be working together in the future?
All right. I consider my job on your podcast, Brendon, to be partially a hot take artist, and I'm going to use this portion to try and create a bunch of clips for you that you and your team can take that will just be hot takes that people want to foam at the mouth about. Hot take number 1, AI ROPS, worst job title ever.
I agree.
Worst.
I agree.
So awful.
Yeah.
Dharmesh, you're a homie. We love you. Most everyone loves you. Awful. Anyone who says it with a straight face, I don't get it. Hot take number 2. Man, did I like blink and my Russian literature loving self became probably the best person to ask about careers and revenue operations plus AI? Like I've been doing so much on both of those that maybe I like weirdly became the expert in the entire world at answering this. It's possible. So everyone listen when I say this. The human part of doing our job will never, ever, 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 ever go away. It just won't. It can't. There's a reason that our pillar number 1 of teaching revenue operations is has more to do with like crime and punishment and the brothers Karamazov and like understanding someone's deepest core like identity and desires and goals and what is it that drives them and what is it that's important to them. There's a reason that that's pillar number 1 and not like begin with the CSV import and prepare your fields to match to the fields in the contacts module. That part of it, this isn't just me saying like sucks at it, not knowing that in 2 years I will be great at it. I think you'll agree, there's a reason that relationship is the number 1. Customer is probably the number 1 word, but relationship is probably the second most important word in CRM, because it's about your relationship with your customers. Again, if RevOps is all about, no matter what you are, a consultant or an internal person, if you have a customer, if you're reporting to someone and you're figuring out their hopes and dreams and desires, that's a relationship. And it's relationships just don't exist as a series of like text or voice-based chats with an AI. And I say that as someone who like literally, I'm the crazy person wearing this stupid tech support headset as I like push my baby in a stroller through my neighborhood and I'm literally chatting with ChatGPT about something. It's still like that's not a relationship. That AI is so bad at, and it's hard for me to project that it will ever be good at truly like understanding what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. What are my goals? Why this business is a prism of my individual dreams and desires, and it's just so bad at understanding that. So I'll tell you the things that AI is going to be incredible at and already is incredible at. It's really going to make a dent in a lot of the types of things that we currently get paid a lot to do in Zoho Analytics, Tableau, Power BI, like a lot of that reporting stuff. AI is going to take a chunk out of that.
Sure.
It's real good at writing SQL, real good at even building visualizations off that, real good at writing SQL fast. There's still a role for Tableau, Analytics, Power BI, whatever, but data visualization, it's going to take a chunk out of that. It is going to take a chunk, and already is in our case, at like a lot of the scripting in between. So think Zaps and building Zaps and end-to-end workflows, and in our Zoho world, Deluge, building custom applications. A lot of that, we make a lot of money building, your Utah State University, and you need a custom application for people to apply to your remote worker program, and then that'll all go into Zoho CRM. The thing that we built 5 years ago in Zoho Creator is now, or Airtable, or whatever it is you're building your custom apps in, Lovable can do a lot better right now. So it is a lot of these like what I would call pillar 3 of our RevOps framework, which is the moment where you actually get to build the thing and build it. Let's say that right now my team is 20 to 30% more efficient at building the thing than they were 2 years ago because of AI. Specifically, the apps I'll call out are Cerebro Analytics, which is the thing that we build a lot of those dashboards in. Lovable carries a lot of water for us. And then just kind of the general, we use a platform called Moonnox to be like our wrapper for ChatGPT and Claude. For all intents and purposes, call it like ChatGPT and Claude for, hey, look at this function. Why is it erroring out when I try to implement it? So like pillar 3, that's where I believe it. That's where we're already doing things. That's where you could make a case that we might have hired another consultant. If AI did not exist, if this generative AI thing had never happened, we might be N+1 employee right now to keep up with our workload where we aren't. And that's a whole like good conversation to go down, is that pillar 3 stuff. But dude, pillars 1 and 2, other than AI note takers and writing our scopes for us or doing a first draft of scopes for us, it's just it still just comes down to like, are we talking with our clients every week? Are we asking good questions? Do we care about them? Do we care about their hopes, dreams, and desires? Like it's just human. It's the cop part of RoboCop.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess, I'm not sure if you're experiencing this as well, but it and I'm sure everybody who's in a similar space to what you and I are in, where companies are essentially approaching us to guide them on how to sort of navigate how they do this. They do most frequently start with, well, so what is this, when they say what is the solution, they mean what is the technology solution? And as you and I are, I guess, both agreeing and are well aware of, and we've learned a lot in that area this year, is that this is not a technology problem, folks, or a technology opportunity. I mean, even though that exists, it's a strategic leadership issue. And that's when you see all these statistics all over LinkedIn and elsewhere, about the failure rate of adoption of AI, it's because it's misguided. It's misguided by every single. So the stat that keeps coming up is the 95% failure rate, which means it's 95% of leadership teams in 95% of boardrooms. That's where the problem is happening from a strategic. Again, it's the people component, right? It's the strategic leadership component that's missing. And until they go through the mindset shift and start prioritizing, again, using your 3 pillars, until they start prioritizing pillars 1 and 2 for themselves, pillar 3, which is where
Yes.
AI really starts to have an impact, isn't going to matter, right?
I couldn't agree more with everything you're saying. I'm going to reframe or add to the thing you're saying with hot take number 3. So everyone take note. Hot take number 3. Every single person that is talking about AI on your LinkedIn feed, on your Twitter feed, whatever, wherever you are, they are, especially right now, just a scared person that has various investments, be it their 401k, be it their company and a new direction they're trying to take their company in or whatever. They have various investments tied up in the idea that AI is going to fundamentally change everything, and they are selling you something. I can say, I'll be real, I'm also selling some AI somethings. I should let's not the pot call the kettle black. I do sell some AI somethings. We all should be more allergic to hype than we currently are. And I say that as just RevOps in general, but also I'll give that for like the entire class of white collar workers who are addicted to LinkedIn, who derive too much of their identity from one particular like social media platform that reflects their professional identity. And I can criticize these people because part of me is that person. We are all just like a little too hyped about this thing, and we are all trying too hard to sell each other something that is way more of a niche tool than most of us would like to admit. And we all are like so many of us have placed these bets that it'll be bigger than it currently is. And yeah, it's kind of upsetting. It's like, it's frustrating. It's upsetting. Yeah.
But what you're saying though, and are you saying that it's really that the timing is misinformed? So the hype, I totally agree. The hype you're talking about this is not just hype. This is just general media hype, right? Which is
Yes.
an entire disease.
Yes.
And this is just a part of that. But are you saying that some of this is because of timing? In other words, that the impact, and you hear all these examples of like when fire was essentially created for the first time, or electricity became a thing. The adoption, as amazing as it is, the adoption does take some time.
Yes.
How much of that is part of what you're saying, or
Man,
not at all?
What a good question. I believe that we are being sold an urgency, first to your point, that is just not really there. That the urgency of if you don't implement this, then your competitors will is patently false, because honestly, it's more of a competitive. Have you heard this? I've heard it described like Apple in their earnings calls. There'd always be criticism in 2023, 2024, Apple's slow to move on AI. They're slow. And the same people now are saying Apple's showing like remarkable poise in not being distracted by it's what you were saying about like 95% of these things fail. It means that 95% of the time it's not necessarily just the technology, like the leadership and their ability to like choose specific initiatives, carve out like small chunks of things that AI can serve. That's the problem. I feel like there are. I tell everyone, I keep using that like allergic to hype framework. I think about AI often. I spend a lot of time using it. Again, I work a lot with Cerebro and Lovable, and it is so fascinating to me that among my staff and among our various projects, we find AI to be applicable and useful in its current instantiation 6 to 8% of the time. When a problem comes up, 6 to 8% of the time we're like, Cerebro could solve this, or Lovable could solve this, or N8N could solve this, and it could solve this really, really well. I'll give a couple specific use cases. We have a customer that does daily scoring using Cerebro. So every day, Cerebro will run through their PK plus customers and the 800 that came in the last day or whatever, and we'll look through and it'll tell its inside salespeople, hey, we looked through everything and here's 20 that we think would be really good to follow up with. That workflow has taken months to set up and dial in properly. It does make them money. They're really pleased with it. Everyone's happy with it. But think of the 10 bazillion other things that business does. And that's just one thing that took a lot of work that AI now does at like a good return on investment. It is a lot of these. So that's again where I say, I tell everyone, like, call me when you're getting ready to implement AI, not because I necessarily have something to sell you, but because I will tell you if it's BS or not. I will
Yeah.
tell you whether you actually, I will, like, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I know you and I could rip on this for hours, but
yes,
um, so Peter, as we sort of wrap up here, we're just kicking off a new year, 2026, and one of the things that as we sort of reflected on what happened and what didn't happen in 2025, especially with regards to AI and how it impacts the work that we do to support our clients who are trying to figure this out. And when I say we, you and us, right? What do you what do you think is gonna change in 2026? What would you how what advice would you give to business leaders currently who probably, I'm guessing, for 2026 have a bigger budget put towards
yeah.
AI than they did in 2025? What advice would you give them as to how to use that budget? It would be one way of thinking about it in 2026.
Really good question. I would tell them it's almost certain. This actually gets back. This is a callback to remember how we said that we won't take a customer if they don't have an admin. If you care about AI stuff, you likely have a single employee that has been tinkering more than most, that has been like spending time maybe paying out of their personal account for some specific subscriptions or tinkering on their own. Empower that person almost as an educational experience to say, hey, we're going to carve out, let's call it 10 hours a week of your time. We're going to try and buy you bandwidth somehow. And we need you to pick one specific thing. Don't like go spread out into all the different quadrants of our business and give us all these like imagine if like in my experience, the devil is always in the details with these things. It's like you think that this end-to-end workflow works, but then you get it to run and it's like, oh, the model doesn't know how to parse out the company ID from this thing, and so it fails to. Oh, like there's always something stupid that goes on. Take that tinkerer, give them bandwidth and education, and tell them you have like carte blanche to go find one thing and go prove a return on investment on that one thing. It might be the inside sales, customer scoring identification thing. It
Mhm.
might be go implement Cerebro for like our customer success people, and it will tell them who are the 10 at-risk customers each day and who they should call and make a little dashboard for them. Like it might be something really basic in a small pilot group, but you have carte blanche to take the first quarter, first 6 months and go do one thing. And if that person can't figure it out, then try again in 2027, but it should not be a part of your overall giant 2026 strategy. It's a very like everything I propose is a very it should be a micro solution. You don't need some big macro strategic shift. Like small solutions, go to your employees, go to the people who see the actual problems day to day and let them identify for you. Like, is there something? Because if you go to an outside agency, if you go, even I'm corrupted. I sell AI things from time to time. Like, if you go to someone, they will always have something to sell you. If
Yeah.
you go to a provider like me, they will tell you, yes, it will change your business. It'll only cost $20,000, and I fret for that.
Yeah, even though there might be an ROI, it might not. Maybe it shouldn't be the first thing that they should be investing in,
Yes,
right? Yeah,
yes.
yeah. That's a really good point, and I think a really good way to wrap this up. Peter, thank you so much for being on the show. Anything else? Anything else you'd like to share as we wrap?
Oh man, how I'll ask this. You have enough distribution on this podcast that my various old man yelling at cloud just anger about AI will get disseminated to tens of millions of people, right? Will
Right,
I
absolutely.
single-handedly be the one? Okay, cool. That makes this worth the time. Yeah, this is great. Bring me back anytime, or even let's get some other guests or something, and let's just like be old men yelling at cloud about AI. That's such a good idea for content.
Yeah. And yeah, and I must say, you mentioned our friends Andrew and Chase, not by name, but Cerebro
Yes.
Analytics. Again, I'm also a huge fan, and for anyone listening who is not aware of Cerebro Analytics and what they do, you should definitely check them out, because that is, I totally agree with you, Peter. That is a really good place to start with a very specific
Yes.
fix for some potentially acute issues that you might have in your business.
I would agree with that. I'm sure if Andrew heard this, he'd be like, and Andrew and I argue about this a decent amount. My views on AI are not his. but I can't deny that specific, like the specific little Cerebro things we do, they're the ones that end up having real ROI, I feel like.
Yeah. Awesome. Peter, thanks again.
Yep.
And best wishes for an awesome, successful 2026.
Right back at you. Go team capitalism. Thanks, Brendon.
Thanks, Peter.